Yes.
Do you know George Osborne?
No. Who is
From
he?
England. He's the Shadow Chancellor of the Exchequer. And it looks like the Tories will be taking over England in June. And he has proposed to cut the lucrative salaries and pensions of government workers. What effect would that have if you went in and you proposed the same plan, reduce their pensions and salaries?
Well, number one, the pensions have to, because the pensions are a sham, because there's no money there. When the government has a pension for its workers, it doesn't set any money aside. It just obligates future taxpayers to make the payments. There's no funding there. Again, it's an example of the Bernie Madoff financing. It's a Ponzi scheme. And it's illegal for private citizens to do it. The government shouldn't be able to do it either. So we have to substantially cut back on all sorts of government pensions, whether it's to their own employees or to the private sector. Because you know what? There's no money there. The country is broke. We overpromised and overspent, and we don't have the resources. And if we don't do something soon to level with the American public and make the necessary cuts in these programs, then no one's going to get anything, because the money's going to be worthless. And it's not going to matter if you get a pension check from the government or you get a Social Security check and you can't buy anything, you know. So we have to do something to cut back on that before it's too late.
That's one of these questions. The entitlement sector is becoming a real drain on the economy. Medicaid, welfare, and all of these other entitlement programs. Do you think if they start cutting them, we will have civil unrest?
Well, we're going to have civil unrest if we don't. Any other questions?
How do you feel about immigration? Now, you know a big thing about exodus from this country, but how do you feel about the immigration?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, I like immigrants. I mean, my grandparents were immigrants. All four of them immigrated to this country around the turn of the last century. The difference was when they came here, there were no welfare workers meeting them. They had to work. They didn't get a quarter. There was no, you know, they came to this country and they worked and they produced and they were assets. So the problem is not immigration. The problem is the welfare magnet that draws the wrong kind of immigrant. That's not what I want. I don't want people coming here because they want to go on the dole. I want people coming here because they want to work hard and they want to be productive. And if that's the case, then let them come in. But what we have to do is go to the root problems of our social welfare state. And don't just say, well, we need to shut our borders down, because there are real problems. And I don't want Native Americans living on these programs either. I got a problem. Just because if you're born in the country doesn't mean that somehow you're entitled to something. But that's what we have to get at. We have to stop being a magnet for people who want to get on the government program and be a magnet for people who want to work. But unfortunately, our economy is so uncompetitive that that's not the problem, unless the immigrants are working under the table. You know, and that way they can get jobs, because the employers are individuals who are breaking the law. They're not following all the rules and there's employment there. But the minute you have to comply with all the red tape, there's no jobs there, because they're not viable anymore. Because real estate prices are still too high. People can't afford to buy homes. That's why governments have to give you tax credits for a 3% down payment. That's why we have to have artificially low interest rates, because no one can afford an actual market rate. But you can't do that. What are the consequences of having 0% interest rates? Nobody's going to save any money because there's no return. Well, how can we have an economy where no one saves any money? There's no capital. There's no jobs. There's no investment. There's nothing. All the money is fleeing the country. We're chasing the capital out of the country because there's no return here. And so we're just going to keep sinking deeper and deeper into the abyss until somebody does something about it.
I'd like to thank you, Peter. I really appreciate you. You did a
Sure.
great job.
My website is shiftforsenate.com if anybody wants to check it out. Shiftforsenate.com.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Why should I vote for you if you only want to be there 6 years, knowing how long it takes to get things done?
Well, I hope it doesn't take that long. I don't think we got that long. If I can't make a difference in 6 years, I don't know that another 6 is going to do anything. The question is, if I accomplish a lot in 6 years, you know, they say, well, maybe you should stay on. I said, well, maybe somebody else could stay. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that old. I mean, I still have a business that I'm trying to. I think I got a good message, and I'll be able to get it out there. So, you know.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck.
Have a safe drive.
I'm not going to read them all the time.
Well, he's the first one who said we're going to bring it up, and all the other guys said we're going to,